Children's literature at Color Me Mine. I completed my inquiry project at Color Me Mine of Hamilton, New Jersey. Color Me Mine is a pottery studio where customers can paint a variety of already molded ceramics or create painted canvases. Customers can paint their chosen pieces in any way they like. They then leave their pieces to be fired and pick them up a week later when completed and ready for use. Now that I've explained what Color Me Mine is, I just want to say that this project allowed me to look at Color Me Mine kind of from a different perspective, trying to view how children's literature is used in this studio. And I was able to make some really good connections between children's literature and art at Color Me Mine. My initial definition of children's literature is that children's literature is written for children from the ages of birth to 13, excluding comic and joke books. Reading these books allows children to expand on their literacy skills and find an interest for reading. In school, this literature is the basis for a lot of learning and curriculum that helps students to grow as readers, writers, and individuals in society. There are many different kinds of literature, ranging from picture books to books that are informational or provide longer, more in-depth stories. Overall, children's literature is a large selection of literature that encompasses 8 different genres with additional subcategories to these genres and many various purposes. How children's literature is used at Color Me Mine. I observed it used in 3 different ways: in store art-related books, through Color Me Mine school programs, and books brought by customers to read. I will further explain each of these and their literacy connections in the following slides. The first is idea and technique books. Color Me Mine provides a shelf of books that help customers learn about different paint techniques and art forms that they use. There are also books for children to enjoy, sharing basic information about art through story formats. This allows students to have literacy connections, such as learning new vocabulary, motivation to read. This would be if they enjoyed art and this was a subject that they enjoyed reading about, and comprehension skills. I did notice by looking at these different kinds of books that some of them may not be considered children's literature because they are nonfiction and were not intended to be read from front to back. This is because you can read only one page on the specific technique that you would like to learn about. This really helped me to clarify what was meant throughout the lectures about books that are not read from front to back not being children's literature. However, the books for children to enjoy that were told through story formats would definitely qualify as children's literature. School and reading programs. There are a couple different programs that Color Me Mine runs using children's literature. School-specific programs are when Color Me Mine provides painting projects related to school-specific content. There are also reading programs where staff read an agreed-upon book aloud to the group and then paint a piece related to the book. This allows children to mix literacy with art. While I didn't get to observe these programs happening at Color Me Mine when I was there, I did see this flyer in the store and was able to ask the employee there about them and learn more about them, giving me this information. Children's literature brought by customers. So it takes a lot longer for adult painters to paint because they choose more intricate pieces and add more detail. While some parents turn to technology to keep their kids occupied, a few brought books for the children to read in order to keep them entertained. By spending their free time reading, children are also practicing reading comprehension, fluency, finding motivation to read books they enjoy, and building other foundational skills. So because I noticed how quickly kids became bored while waiting for their parents, I thought that this was a really good idea for the parents to have brought these books in, and was a great way that kids could not only paint, but then also get a little bit of time reading. So I made some other observations as well. These were that children made decisions based off of previous experiences with literature, and this was by choosing book-inspired pottery to paint. An example of this would be painting a fish because they liked the book The Rainbow Fish. Also, I observed that they may choose a summer camp they want to participate in based on an interest in a certain genre of book, such as mystic and fairy tales, if they enjoy reading those kinds of books. So I found all this very interesting, even though it didn't involve reading children's literature right at Telling Me Mine. This is because I just thought it was really cool that children may base their decision on what they want to do based on previous experiences and background knowledge on what that they've already been exposed to and what they already like through what they've read at school and at home. So changing thoughts on children's literature, now that I completed this project, I feel I already did have a solid definition on children's literature, but I would add a few things. So these books cover a wide range of topics that are meant to relate to the lives of children and teach new concepts. Children's literature should be used to make connections to their interests. I also noticed that nonfiction books that are not meant to be read from front to back should not be considered children's literature, and that this should be stated in the definition. As I said earlier, I noticed this through looking at the different books on painting techniques that can just be turned to one page to look at the technique. Finally, I felt that children's literature can be used for instruction outside of school, and that this should really be emphasized in the definition. A fun art project based off of a book may not seem like literacy instruction, but students are still learning and making literacy connections. So in conclusion, children's literature can be found in places that many would not expect. There are many ways to get children interested in literature. A place like Telling Me Mine is a great way to plan an art-related activity alongside with related to literature. Not only does this allow for a unique approach and extension on learning and creativity, but children enjoy it. Overall, this project really helped me and opened my eyes on how we can use children's literature in the world. I was able to make a lot of connections, and I really enjoyed taking an in-depth look at children's literature in a place outside of the home or in school.